this season. He's made a start that came on the 10th of April against the White Sox and suffered the loss. Out of the bullpen for New York, runner at first, 1 out, and here's Manny Ramirez. In for a strike. 6-2 Boston. Ramirez 1 out of 3 tonight with a home run his first time up. Right down the right field line. DePaula made the start out of the 5th position in the rotation, which will be manned by John Lieber at some point next month. Out with a groin injury after missing all last year following arm surgery. DePaula sinks it low. 1 ball, 2 strikes.
Joe Torre has an interesting name for DePaula's changeup and also Vazquez. Joe calling it a power changeup, meaning it's a changeup that you could throw with 2 strikes and get the strikeout with. He's thrown 2 of the 3 first pitches to Ramirez have been changeups.
The 1-2 right up the middle. Nice play by Cairo for a 4-6-3 inning-ending double play. Cairo right into the game with a backhanded pickup, and we go to the 8th. Still 6-2 Boston. We move to the 8th inning. Wakefield 7 innings, 1 earned run, 2 overall. The numbers last season for Williamson coming over from Cincinnati. 4 walks, 4 strikeouts, and a home run allowed by Wakefield. And now the guy who last year blossomed into the closer for the Red Sox in October, Scott Williamson. First pitch swinging is Jeter. Bellhorn takes care of it. That'll bring in A-Rod. And let's take a look at this game for Alex Rodriguez. He's grounded out. He struck out. Reached on what was ruled a hit. Could have very easily been either A, an out, or B, certainly should have been an error. And then running on a 3-1 count with 2 on and 1 out in the 6th inning, thrown out trying to steal third. 1 out, base is empty. Ball 1. Strike 1. I am not surprised that Alex Rodriguez has struggled here in the first couple of weeks of the season with all of the pressure and all of the hype that surrounded his offseason and his eventual move to the Yankees.
I'm not either, Joe.
Be inhuman if he didn't suffer that here at the start. Also learning a new position.
Right.
2-1. Already has 346 career home runs. Turns 29 in July. You start doing the math. There's another guy with a shot at the all-time record if he can stay healthy. Lines to Miller. 2 out. Let's check in with Kenny Albert with tonight's starter, Tim Wakefield.
All right, thanks very much, Joe. I am with the Red Sox starter, Tim Wakefield. Tim, it's April 16th. It's the regular season, but did things feel any different for you out there on the mound first game against the Yankees this year?
No, it's just an exciting series as always when the Yankees come to Boston, and you know, my offense did a great job today, and I'm just excited to get the first game underway.
Now, you beat the Yankees twice in the ALCS last October. Bit of a different Yankee lineup. Compare their lineup last October and the additions this year with Sheffield and A-Rod.
I'm just glad Aaron Boone is in the lineup anymore. No, they got a really good lineup, 1 through 9, and it's going to be a battle all year. You know, once we get our lineup healthy with you know, Nomar, Garcia, Bar, and Trot Nixon back, you know, it's going to be a battle.
I know you were asked many times about Aaron Boone during the offseason, but talk about the outpouring of love you received from the fans here in Boston in November and December.
It was tremendous. You know, I came up for the baseball writers dinner and I got a standing ovation, which you know, really took me by surprise. But you know, the fans are unbelievable here. They're so passionate, and I'm just proud to be wearing a Red Sox uniform.
Can this rivalry get any bigger than it did last October?
I don't know. You can answer that one. You guys make it big, but I mean, as big as it is already, it's a lot of fun.
Tim, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Joe.
All right, Kenny, thanks. And thanks to Tim Wakefield for stopping by to chat. Ball 1 to Giambi, then a meeting on the mound. And now ball 2. 10th season here for Wakefield. And Tim, that's a guy who came up with Pittsburgh in '92, went 8-1 during the regular season, 2-0 in the postseason against Atlanta, and then was cut loose a couple years later in '95 and signed as a minor league free agent by Boston.
It was 5-15 in the minor leagues. And a guy who just used a word that is not often used when these two teams get together. Fun.
So far, the Red Sox have had the majority of the fun tonight, leading 6-2 as we play in the 8th. Three and 1. '69th consecutive sellout here at Fenway, 35,163. Being here to watch it. Yankees struggling at the beginning of the season, hitting the ball. That's a strike. Giambi thought he had drawn a walk. Full count. Miles per hour, and Giambi fouling it straight back.
The Red Sox have a luxury. They don't have a setup man to get to their short man. They have a short man to get to their short man. Many teams can boast a guy with 21 saves as their setup guy.
And that's from a team that last year went into the season inconceivably saying that the role of a quote-unquote closer is overrated, and numbers crunchers saying that they didn't need a guy and all they did was try to find a guy. Eventually got Byung-Hun Kim, who's injured right now and back in the rotation, and now they've got Williamson and Keith Polk for 2004.
Yeah, that's a mistake they won't make again.
A 3-2 pitch. Another foul by Giambi. You look at last season for Keith Polk, 9-1, a tremendous ERA. Saves and save opportunities compared to the Red Sox bullpen, 36 of 57 in save chances. It got pulled together in the postseason. 3-2 pitch. Yet again. Good work by Williamson. Manny Ramirez drops it. And Giambi remains at first base with 2 out. Williamson did his part, and Manny Ramirez makes an error in left on one of the most routine fly balls he'll ever have out there.
Embarrassing is not a word that you use too often, but if there was an ever a la-di-da attempt at a fly ball, that was it. Giambi not running hard, so you have a double pop there. Giambi and Ramirez both at fault.
So an error on Manny Ramirez, his first of the season. And now Sheffield stands in and takes a ball. That's the first error by Boston. The Yankees have committed 2, and both came in the first inning. Now a wild pitch will send Giambi down to second.
A wicked slider gets away from Mirabelli. Ball stays down. A wild pitch by Williamson.
He was headed off the mound and back toward the dugout when that ball came down and was boxed by Manny Ramirez out in left. And now with a runner at second, Mirabelli will come out and make sure they're together on the signs. We've seen 93, 94 mile-per-hour fastballs from Williamson. Scooter, it's late to tell the kids what a fastball is all about.
What's up, bro? This is Scooter. When Scooter really wants to scoot, it's time for a little heat. The pitcher just rears back and throws me as hard as he can. Wow! A good fastball comes in so fast, the hitter has no time to react. Stay right.
Right night for heat.
41 degrees at the start of the night. Terry Francona. Ball 3, 3-0 on Sheffield. Francona, who's been the subject of radio call-in shows around here as Embry gets loose. Subject of him for not moving Pedro Martinez around to be ready for this 4-game set against the Yankees. He will pitch next weekend in New York. 3-0 pitch. 3-1. Terry Francona seems a bit more willing to discuss the reasons for the decisions that he makes compared to Jimmy Williams and Grady Little, the last couple of guys who manned the position for Boston.
Does not have a defensive bone in his body.
A 3-1. Full count. Sheffield walks. An error, a walk, and all of a sudden an opportunity for the Yankees. Posada will be the hitter. We go back to the second inning, and a 391-foot home run hit by Jorge Posada into dead center. And now with Posada digging in, we'll see if Embry will come out of that bullpen to turn Posada around.
This has really been a poorly played ball game by both teams. The 2 errors by the Yankees in the first inning. The base running mistake by Alex Rodriguez being thrown out at third base. And a lollipop error on Manny Ramirez to keep the Yankees alive here in the 8th.
I'm surprised Williamson's staying in the game. In for a strike. It's not crazy, but if you have Alan Embry getting ready and loose in the bullpen, you would think he just popped up and got loose for this specific reason with Posada coming up.
Yep. Or Matsui on deck.
Posada displays more power batting left-handed.
Right.
The 0-1. That gets away, and the runners move up to second and third, and this is getting really ugly for the Red Sox. And that one could go either way, wild pitch or pass ball. We've had one of each in this game from the Red Sox side. It's a wild pitch.
Certainly not taking up for him, but Doug Mirabelli catching primarily a knuckleball. And the guy who does the bulk of the catching, Jason Varitek, is not in there. It's a lot tougher for Mirabelli trying to catch a guy with the equipment of Williamson as opposed to a slower knuckleball.
Here's a 1-1 to Posada. 2 balls and a strike. It all started with this out in left field. Manny Ramirez. The error. Then a wild pitch. Then a walk. Now another wild pitch. And Posada off to a good start. Waits for a 2-1 pitch. Good rip. 2-2. And again, this crowd hoping that this 8th inning will end right here.
I think the slider is the pitch to throw in this situation, but remember Mirabelli having the problem that he had with that pitch on the wild pitch.
Full count. Third consecutive full count. If Posada reaches, the tying run will come to the plate.
It's another indication of Mirabelli not catching anybody but Tim Wakefield.
While those two talk on the mound, we remind you Sunday the world's best drivers return to Fox for NASCAR Nextel Cup racing. Advance Auto Parts 500, defending champion Jeff Gordon defend his title at one of NASCAR's toughest tracks. 17 weeks of high-speed thrills and excitement continue Sunday at 1 Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific, only on Fox. A 3-2 pitch to Jorge Posada. The bases are loaded and the tying run will come to the plate. An error and 2 walks. And that should be it for Williamson.
The left fielder, number 55.
That taking place out in left center field. Johnny Damon trying to keep the spirits up with Manny Ramirez after the error, and now it's Alan Embry in to face Hideki Matsui. It was a 5-2 lead in the 8th inning 6 months ago in Game 7 of the ALCS, and it was Embry standing in the bullpen as opposed to on the mound with Hideki Matsui at the plate facing Pedro Martinez, and the Yankees would obviously tie it and win it in the 11th.
Matsui with a double down the right field line at Yankee Stadium on an 0-2 fastball.
A flare hit by Posada. Here comes an 0-1 pitch. Good rip by Hideki Matsui, who hangs in well against lefties. 0-2. The Yankees threaten, but come up empty. Brought to you by GMC. We are professional grade. And by Miller. Vote Miller for president of beers. Good call. We would like to thank the folks at Hood for providing us with the aerial pictures of tonight's game. Hood, America's dairy expert since 1846. Carb Countdown, the dairy solution for those counting their carbs. You gotten on that bandwagon? You counting your carbs, Tim?
South Beach diet? Not yet.
You look fantastic. You don't need to. I'm not saying you need to.
Thanks, Joe.
3 hoppers off the bat of Kevin Millar, and that's out number 1. At the bottom of the 8th, our GMC flashback. World Series went. Embry came on to retire Giambi after that Flair 2-run double by Posada, and then Timlin got out of the inning by getting Soriano to keep it a tie game. A game that was won on the home run by Aaron Boone in the bottom of the 11th. Ellis Burks with 1 out, nobody on. 2 balls, no strikes. Foul.
Yet another Game 7. Even though this was a league championship series, look at the Games 7. 5 in a row. 46, 67, 75, 86 all World Series games. And then last year on October 16th.
And then losing the 2-1 game playoffs.
Yeah.
3 balls and a strike on Ellis Burks. From the 2 of us up in the booth, I speak for Tim when I say welcome to Pete Macheska.
Yes, sir.
Who takes over as our producer for Michael Weissman. And we're excited to have Pete with us as Ellis Burks takes a 1-out walk. Working with Bill Webb. And thousands down in the compound down there to bring you tonight's game. 1 on, 1 out for Mark Bellhorn. Start to see the finals rolling in from around baseball up in the top portion of your screen, and there is Folk. A new addition to this Boston team from a year ago. But of all the great numbers that Folk put together, especially last year, 9-1, 43 saves, 2.08 ERA. He has a 6.91 ERA against the Yankees
in 18 career appearances.
So that will have to turn around as this season unfolds and the 19 games are played between New York and Boston.
Well, one of the things that Terry Francona has tried to do is to get the Red Sox thinking about other teams other than the Yankees. Terry kidding about it. He said, we do not gain an extra half game in the standings when we beat the Yankees. And that's one of the reasons why Pedro Martinez started last night and not tonight, as Mel Stottlemyre will now come out and talk to the young DePaula.
Tim, you had a chance to sit down and talk with Terry Francona about that very thing.
I haven't been underground, 6 feet underground. I know there's extra fervor in the stands and there's excitement and there's electricity. But as far as preparing, we kind of try to be obsessed with who we're playing. I think that's the only way to look at it. Again, I realize there's extra excitement throughout Boston in this area. But until they start giving us an extra half game for winning those games, we'll prepare for who we're playing for. Or I think you end up missing the boat. If we don't take care of who we're supposed to be playing, those Yankee games aren't going to be as important as we want them to be.
And you can see just by him sitting there talking how excited he is to be here. He could hardly sit still in that seat here at Fenway talking to you.
Right.
3 balls, no strikes. 1 on, 1 out. And now back-to-back walks. see a guy like Joe Torre, who's in the corner of that dugout, agreeing to that 3-year contract extension at just over $19 million. If he finishes that contract with the Yankees, he will have been with New York for 12 years, which is how long Casey Stengel was with the Yankees. Stengel won 7 titles, and Joe Torre already has won 4. And they are both guys who, when they took over as manager of the Yankees, were in about their mid-50s and hadn't had a lot of success prior to getting into that position with this storied franchise. And why is Joe Torre so special to George Steinbrenner? He has delivered 4 of the 6 titles under Steinbrenner since he purchased the team for under $9 million in 1973.
And by signing Joe to a 3-year contract, that keeps Joe Torre as manager of the Yankees and will not allow him to be the manager of another major league team, like, for instance, the Boston Red Sox.
2 balls, no strikes. He still has a very warm place in his heart and has fond recollection of the time that he brought the lineup card out here at Fenway Park when he came back from prostate cancer surgery. Beating that, everybody expected Chambliss to bring out the card. He did, and the fans here at Fenway gave him an extended standing ovation, and he will never forget that. That meant the world to him, and it really touched him. Here comes a 2-1 pitch. 3-1. So DePaula can't find the strike zone as he threatens to walk his 3rd in a row. Coming up next, a reminder, your late local news, except for those of you out on the West Coast. Those of you just joining us, in case you're wondering, A-Rod's night. Bases loaded on 3 walks. And Donovan Osborne will appear. So Joe Torre out to take the ball from Jorge DePaula and give it to the left-hander Donovan Osborne. Pokey Reese coming up. 6-2 Boston in the 8th.
This year can only be as good. I find it hard that it could be more exciting. I mean, they beat us up at times last year. We beat them in some close games. You know, 10-9 during the season, 4-3 in the postseason. I love going to Boston. I love the fans. I love the people in the streets. It's a great city, and there's no better theater than at Fenway Park and Yankee Stadium, and we're going to experience that over the next couple of weeks now.
4-game set here, and the next weekend at Yankee Stadium. And Joe Torre, the former broadcaster with the Angels, former manager in St. Louis and Atlanta, player manager with the Mets, MVP with the Cardinals. You look at Donovan Osborne, and just to continue the comparison with Casey Stengel, I mean, like Casey Stengel, Joe Torre, with what he has done here and what he did as a player, is headed for the Hall of Fame himself.
No question about it.
Pokey Reese now against Donovan Osborne, who literally just walked away from the game a couple of years ago. And if you're a left-hander and you're with the Yankees in 2004, you're carrying a little extra burden with you when you wear number 46, the former number of Andy Pettitte, who's now pitching for, on the disabled list with, the Houston Astros. Bases loaded, 1 out. Donovan Osborne took the time off, got his life in order. Has twins, 7 months old, and thrilled to be back pitching for Joe Torre and now with the Yankees. The two are together in St. Louis. 0-2 on Pokey Reese.
Pitcher like Donovan Osborne could be auditioning as a 5th starter with Jorge DePaula ineffective this evening, and a poor start against the White Sox. could be Osborne tagged as the 5th starter for the Yankees in lieu of DePaula.
Reese with the bases loaded, 1 out. 4, 6, 3. And nice work by Donovan Osborne to come in and induce the inning-ending double play ball. We go to the 9th. Last chance for the Yankees. They trail it by 4. Now as the Red Sox try to close out a win against the Yankees. First of 19 meetings between the two. Gabe Kapler takes over in right field for Millar. Millar does not shift into the infield. They keep Ortiz at first. And the new pitcher is Keith Folk. After a terrible spring training, the veteran right-hander has pulled it together for the regular season.
Most of the time, pitchers like Keith Folk have a tougher time in spring training because they're not hard throwers. They can't get by with a 94-mile-an-hour fastball. Their control has to be pinpoint, and Folk certainly no different. That odd delivery where he wraps that arm right around the neck. Hitters refer to pitchers like that as hookers. They hook the ball right there. You can see that odd delivery of Keith Folk.
One ball, one strike. Into center field and easy for Damon. 1 out. The Taco Bell plays of the game. The 3 home runs hit tonight by Boston. 2 of them in the first inning. Bill Miller, Manny Ramirez, and a ball that was ruled a home run, and then Doug Mirabelli, an opposite field post in the 4th. For the pitching of Tim Wakefield, which was outstanding against the Yankees again here tonight. The Red Sox are 2 outs away from their 5th win of the year. Just as a little side note, an interesting aspect to this game, a 1-0 pitch is popped up to the right side, and that will stay in play for Ortiz. Overran it and couldn't adjust. And now Ortiz hangs his head.
Newton's law, unfortunately, in effect tonight. Whatever goes up must come down. But Newton didn't talk about balls landing in gloves. They haven't the last 2 innings for Manny Ramirez or David Ortiz. On cue.
And now Cairo's hit by a pitch. Just started to say that tonight's game, the 50th consecutive game since April of 2001 that the Yankees and Red Sox have played. The 2 teams ranked 1 and 2 in the American League East standings. That will end tonight. The Baltimore Orioles, led by Lee Mazzilli, winners 11-1 at Toronto. So they will slide their way in there. And that little streak will end. That was the longest streak in the history of Major League Baseball. 1 on, 1 out. Lofton. Nice play by Folk to knock it down and get the out. 2 away. Down to second is Cairo.
Looked like that one hopper hit Keith Folk on the left shin. Put some part of the glove on it. I think that ball had some body. No? Maybe the left wrist. Good play by Folk to get the 1 out.
Derek Jeter digs in, runner at second, 2 out. Yankees down to their final out. By the way, a lot of people trying to speculate. I think the reception was louder and a little more harsh tonight on Alex Rodriguez as opposed to Derek Jeter.
Yep.
Here at Fenway Park, the 0-1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Jeter's old news around here now, playing for the Yankees. Frustrating to Red Sox fans nonetheless, but A-Rod is the new center of attention for the fans here at Fenway. Runner at second, 2 out. By the way, before we miss the opportunity, from those of us with Fox, we are indebted to the Players Association, to the ownership side, and in particular these two organizations, the Yankees and Red Sox, for letting us step in and carry tonight's game. We appreciate getting the chance to bring you this first meeting between the Yankees and Red Sox here on April 16th. A 1-2 pitch. Well, is this it? Damon, Red Sox win. A dominant pitching performance tonight by Wakefield, Williamson, Embry, and Volk. And round 1 of a 19-round regular season fight between the Red Sox and Yankees goes Boston's way at 6-2.
Baseball. We said it earlier, it was not a well-played ball game, but Terry Francona will take it.
The Boston Red Sox playing without 2 regulars, Trot Nixon and Nomar Garciaparra, score 6 runs and win a big game behind Tim Wakefield over the Yankees here tonight. And Terry Francona all smiles down in that receiving line with the Red Sox making their way off the field. So A-Rod and the Yankees will head to the clubhouse and get ready for tomorrow's game, the second game of this 4-game set. And all of the hype and all of the buildup leading to this April 16th game, exactly 6 months after Game 7 of last year's ALCS, is over, and the Red Sox fans are ready to spill out into the streets and have some fun. We're happy to have Kenny Albert with us tonight, and he is along with an interview. Kenny?
All right, Joe, thanks very much with Bill Miller. Bill, 1 for 26 coming in, but 3 for 3 tonight. Did it help that you had seen Vazquez before many times in the National League?
Well, first and foremost, I want to say every time I step on this field, it's to glorify God, because it's the God-given ability I have to play this game. To answer your question, you know, sometimes it's good to look at the guy pitching prior. You know, I was in the National League, but I go by what he did last game, and also to go up here. It's a different situation. You know, it's a lot of intensity and it's a lot of excitement. So I think it's a little bit more feel and kind of just to get to see what he has.
Now, we spoke to Tim Wakefield after he came out. He said for him in this first game against the Yankees this season, the atmosphere did not feel much different than any other regular season game. What about for you?
Yeah, you know, anytime you play in your division, you gotta get down and you know, play hard, and not to say that you're not playing hard outside your division, but you know you can make some ground up inside your division. So whether it's the Yankees or Tampa or whoever it is, you know, you really gotta get out here and put everything together and make sure you do everything right.
Well, Bill, 1 down, 18 to go against the Yankees this season. Congratulations on the victory.
Thank you very much.
Bill Miller, 3 for 3, 2-run homer in the first. Joe?
And this is what it looked like, Kenny. Thanks for being here with us tonight. Took it up and out. A 4-run first inning, a big reason why the Boston Red Sox won this game tonight. A final of 6-2. More coming up.
Hello and welcome to Show Phone. You have selected the last 4 original Simpsons episodes of the season. Who is Springfield's masked Avenger? For Simple Simpson, press 1. To witness Marge and Homer's first kiss the way we weren't, press 2. For the story of one boy and his wardrobe malfunction, the Bart Mangle banner, press 3. And for broadcast news, the season finale that'll keep everyone guessing, press 4. You have selected this season's last 4 original Simpsons. Sundays at 8, 7 Central on Fox.
The revolution is about to begin. The groundbreaking year-long television season starts this summer with 5 all-new original series. Fox Summer. It's a whole new season.
When the evidence has been presented and both sides rest, the trial is almost over, but the real investigation is just beginning.
Ladies and gentlemen of the jury, you have seen the evidence and heard the witnesses. If you find the defendant guilty, you must be unanimous in your verdict.
He's one of the most decorated cops in the NYPD.
Since when does being a great cop mean he's a great human being? What about the witnesses?
What is she a witness to?
She found the body.
She's lying.
From Academy Award winner Barry Levinson.
I say we take a vote.
And Emmy Award winner Tom Fontana.
Is that a joke for you? It's a man's life we're talking about.
A 6-2 final from Fenway Park. The first meeting between these two teams for 2004. We've had a lot of fun bringing it to you. And after all of the anticipation for this one and the rivalry renewed, it's a final 6-2, the Boston Red Sox on top. For more information on tonight's game and for the latest information on Major League Baseball, go to foxsports.com. Our thanks to Steve Horn up here in the booth with us, for Tim McCarver and Kenny Albert. I'm Joe Buck. So long from Boston. Your late local news, except for those of you on the West Coast. Coming up next, you've been watching Fox Sports, your home for the 2004 Major League Baseball postseason and World Series. Thanks for being with us. Good night from Fenway.